Need a few good reasons to really start using your watercolors? Then stick around.
Welcome back to the Lionscapes channel, where we talk about drawing and creativity.
Hello.
And watercolors, of course.
Yes.
We're really excited to tell you that we've just launched our new online course, where we'll take you from the beginning to really unfolding your creative potential using drawing, sketching, and also watercolors. So, check out the link below and use the early bird registration opportunity, which lasts until October 8th. So, Sonia, why watercolors?
Because when you're drawing outside, you usually need practical drawing tools. So that was also my reason why I bought my first set of watercolors. There are 12 colors there, and you also get a brush.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that I bought them, I started using the single colors, but never dived into it even more.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is then, after I bought the fifth set of watercolors, yeah, which the difference between them was just in slight difference in color tones, then I figured out, okay, maybe I should learn a bit more about them.
Okay, so let's look at what watercolors can actually teach you.
Number one, you will learn to think about how the picture is built and how you will achieve the end result. Drawing with watercolors requires some planning. You need to consider the drawing steps and how to start painting, because working with water allows you several techniques as wet on wet, wet on dry, etc. If you want to use effects in your advantage, then you need to consider which application of paint you will apply first. You have to remember that the water technique does not allow erasing color after the pigment dries. Are you afraid of a blank page? I usually use A5 format sketchbooks, but since I use watercolors, I often choose larger paper formats. If you're afraid of a blank page and larger formats, then try watercolors, as working with brushes and water requires more space, bigger formats, and the strokes are also a bit different. Secondly, you'll learn how to draw in a more dynamic way. Watercolors are known for various techniques, and all depend on how much water you use and how you can manipulate pigments with water. Sometimes you have to be quick and determined, and sometimes you have to be patient. In the wet on wet technique, for example, you apply the paint quickly because you want the pigment to spread on the wet paper surface, and on the other side, in the dry technique, we want the color to stay exactly where we want it. Number 3, become a better observer. When I sketch, I usually focus on elements that interest me. For example, arrangements of specific elements like architecture, materials, trees. I deal more with spatial structures and relationships between them, and the sketch is usually very technical. But watercolors allow me to add a better atmospherical dimension to the picture. I can very nicely add light to the space, reflections, contrasts, and colors. You learn to observe the space in more detail because you're interested in how it's composed. As a result, you'll also train your eye to observe other works of art. Number 4, you learn how to use color. I've used color only for the purpose on emphasizing of the elements in my sketches. The color palette in the purchased watercolors, however, forces you to start using the colors. First of all, the pigments are beautiful, and that's the first reason why you start using them. At the first glance, you just have 12 colors, but when you mix them together, you get this amazing array of color tones. Sooner or later, you start mixing your own colors and exploring color harmonies, contrasts, which colors don't mix well, and which create muddy colors. You finally learn how to use a color wheel. Number 5. The painting process will change how you draw. As the paint dries brighter than it looks wet, you'll become more daring in applying and using the color. You'll become more determined because you have to decide faster when are you going to apply some color and what would you like to achieve. While you wait on the paint to dry, you can also work on multiple paintings at the same time. Number 6, you decide if you want to draw more precise or more loosely. The medium allows you to draw with extreme precision if you want to do some botanical plants, or very relaxed and intuitive. It depends on the size of the brush, on the techniques that you're using. You can simplify the shapes and omit the details. It allows you to be abstract. Consequently, this can free you from notion of perfection. Number 7. It's very relaxing and fun. Once you discover that it's not necessary to add and draw all the details and elements to your drawing, and that the main reason why you're using watercolors is because you mix those colors with water and they work harmoniously so good, you start to have fun. You can master the skill of using watercolor, but water will always remain an element that is unpredictable and behaves different all the time. You will inspire the painting. It's almost as you would talk to the painting. First, you do a few strokes and then you let the pigment react to the paper and you just observe it. Then you do few more strokes and observe, think about what will be your next steps. And this process goes on and on so long that you're not finished with your painting. It's a conscious or very intuitive process. It depends. I get into that flow state where I get into a dialogue between myself and the canvas. It's some sort of meditation where I just listen what I have to say, put it on the canvas, and then I just observe what's happening on the paper or on the canvas. I let my thoughts go and I don't try to hold on to them. And number 8, you can always add final touches afterward. When the paint is dry, you can go in and use some color pencils or ink and draw something in addition to that if you would like to get an additional precision or some feeling of depth. So these are my considerations. I hope I convinced you to give watercolors a try.
So, if you like watercolors and want to try them out, we have something special for you. We've just decided to include Sonia's new watercolor course, like early access to Sonia's new watercolor course that is coming in the near future, right?
Yeah.
In our Creative Compass online membership program. So if you join the Creative Compass, not only you will get all the resources on how to improve your technique in drawing and sketching and how to overcome creative blocks, how to develop a creative routine, but you will also get access to Sonia's new watercolor course, and we'll be also looking at the techniques and also how to use watercolors to improve your creativity. So we're really excited for that. So if you go to the link below in the description and check out the Creative Compass, this is something you're getting there as well.
And if you like this content, then you can always subscribe and like. And till next time, you know what to do.
Keep on drawing
and stay creative. Bye bye.